All right, is Russ still cooking? He gets to go back into the kitchen on Thursday night against the Arizona Cardinals. Look at the first 5 games. Look at the last 4, specifically the turnovers. From 19 total touchdowns and 3 turnovers to 10 and 10, Chris, 10 and 10. It prompted Pete Carroll, coach of the Seahawks, to address yesterday the offensive balance or lack thereof in Seattle.
Get it all working. We need to continue to run the football. We need that as part of our offense. Not as much as we need to do more than we did yesterday. And we want to continue to always work for the balance. I know all of the publicity has gone towards the throwing game, and Russ has had huge numbers starting this thing off. And we're still probably close to the highest scoring team in the NFL. And we expect to get back to that. And we need all of our offense to get that done.
Yeah, look, you can't be one-dimensional. Regardless of whether and to what extent you're showcasing a great quarterback and setting him up to be the one who gets the bulk of the numbers, you can't be one-dimensional, whether you're running it all the time or passing it all the time, because at some point you will encounter someone
That's right.
who will take away that one dimension you're focusing on.
Yes.
And you're not going to be able to do the other thing.
Right. Every team's got kryptonite. And the Rams got a front four that can corral Russell Wilson, and they have their version of DK Metcalf on defense and Jalen Ramsey to go, okay, now what's your next move? And there's just not a next move. That's where they need the run game. That's where they really miss Chris Carson and his physicality running up between the line of scrimmage. This is a great explosive drop back pass offense, but it's not one to where, hey, They rely on, they got all the plays you need. It's not one of those offenses where I go, oh my gosh, this amazing play design. It's amazing. They got all the plays you need, and then they rely on their players to make the plays with and off of that. And that usually works. And it's going to work against a lot of football teams. But as we saw in a game like Sunday, they're running the ball, important. And then, hey, you can't just go, we're going to line up DK over here. And if he gets a man, we're going to throw it to him. Yeah, that's going to work against most teams in football, but this is one it's not. And what are you going to do to help him out and do something? DeAndre Hopkins, they throw some receiver screens, some pick plays, do things like that. They got to have some answers for that to get him involved in case that happens again, too, because he's too good not to let him touch the ball more than he did on Sunday.
And it may be quite as simple as the Seahawks came out with this new look offense, motivated by an effort to placate Russell Wilson, who wants to show more frequently that he's as good as the best quarterbacks in the game. And after 4 or 5 games of it, teams are able to scheme against it.
Sure.
Teams are able to take away what they're trying to do, and the running game has been ignored. So, I think this gives Pete Carroll ammunition to go back to Russ and say, I know you want to rack up these big numbers, and we're going to try to do that, but we have to have balance.
Yeah, I think
we have to create balance.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to sell that, though, and go, your numbers are going to be better if we have just a little bit more balance. It's going to create some of those big plays we saw early in the year that, we haven't seen as much of lately to where, and, right now, hey, listen, this graphic we're showing right here says it all. It's a lot of pressure on him. He's doing it all. Leading the team in rushing, leading the team in throwing, bringing them back. The defense stinks. That's just you're going to have moments like that, like you said, when you play that team that just seems to match up the right way against you.
Leave that up there. I don't know how many guesses I would have needed to get Daniel Jones as number 3.
Yeah.
Right? I would have guessed Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray is just 8 yards behind Kenyon Drake as the leading rusher in Arizona. Murray's on pace to have over 1,000 yards. He's got 604. But I don't know when I would have gotten around to Daniel Jones. Maybe at some point it would have flashed in my mind. He had that long run where he did the face plant, so that probably has boosted him, and they don't have Saquon Barkley. But it would have taken a while for me to finally spin back around to Daniel Jones.
Yeah, no, I only knew it just because I've seen the stat a little bit, lately. But he may every game has 1 or 2 runs where you go, oh, he ripped off 15, he ripped off 20. Well, that was a nice run. Straight away he can move a little bit. Certainly, Wayne Gallman though coming on for them. But I think that back to Seattle. I do. I think Pete Carroll, they got to get back to just a little balance too. Just to help their defense out. That's another issue. Again, they can't be like, sitting there with the way they play where, oh, man, Russell and company, it's 3 passes in a row. They're off the field. We're back on there. That's not going to be the proper formula for them to succeed on that side of the ball either.
Another thing that you've been advocating, and, when you watch other games, you see it happen. In the Cardinals-Bills game, a quick pass to Larry Fitzgerald just to get him involved, right? Then there's no way they can stop it. He takes a step back from the line. Kyler Murray has the ball in shotgun. You throw it to Larry Fitzgerald. You got a couple receivers blocking. You give him a chance to gain 7 or 8 yards just to get the feel of the football in his hand.
That's right.
Through his gloves.
That's
right.
Yeah.
And here's DK Metcalf with Jalen Ramsey covering him. 37 snaps with Ramsey on him. 2 targets, no catches. Is it really that hard? Are they caught in this never-ending blender of activity and they don't listen to anyone? Because if you listen to anyone, how do you avoid listening to everyone? But how has it not dawned on the Seahawks that they should find ways to get the ball into the hands of DK Metcalf other than him running a pass route and getting open?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's all about just like him doing it, And yeah, they call plays to be aggressive, and Russell Wilson's a great deep ball thrower, but you're right, and what you're saying there. The way they use him is, hey, line up over here. If you got 1-on-1, we expect you to beat them. If you don't and it's double coverage, we got other ways we're going to use offense over here. So they kind of use him as that pawn all the time. But yeah, there's going to be games and teams like we see where they're going to have the proper game plan to where, yes, what you're saying, where Kansas City, Tyreek Hill, there's always screens early in the game. There's a speed sweep. There's something just to get him going, get the ball in his hands. That, to me, is where they drop the ball a little bit. I'd like to see DK on the Deebo Samuel toss plays, anything like that. I think that will all go that way. And if he's going to be playing man-to-man like that, I know he's a freak, but the guy covering him's a freak too. Every now and then, we can pick and rub and do those type of things. Never saw that throughout the game either. I'm excited to watch the film back of that game today and really see how that matchup unfolded.
Think about the ways they use Tyreek Hill, even as a decoy. Well,
he's everywhere.
Loop him into the backfield, right? And so all of a sudden you've got 11 guys on defense saying, uh-oh. And even if you never even move in his direction, you've frozen them. You've made them think that the best athlete on the field is going to get the football. So why aren't we seeing that? The DK, that little jet sweep touch pass that counts as a forward pass.
Right.
You get DK Metcalf with a head of steam going across the formation, shotgun formation, snap to Russell Wilson, flip it to DK Metcalf, and just let him go.
Yeah.
Just see what he can do.
Right.
Because I have a feeling he can do some great things eventually.
No doubt about it. I think that's where, yes, that's the next phase of that offense. They got to go there to get touches.
If I can figure it out, it can't be that hard. You at least played and you've worked with teams and, you've been inside of it. And maybe part of it is me learning from being around you. But it can't be that hard. Why is it that hard?
No, I know. Well, as an offensive coordinator, hey, they've had success. And, okay, I never did these type of things in my offense. And then you start this year and you go, hey, everything's working. But I think it goes back to it's like 10 weeks of film. Teams start to find little better ways to corral Wilson, take away some of the past concepts that have been effective, and you need to continue to grow and have more bells and whistles and things like that. And I do. I think that's something, hey, Robert Woods speed sweeps, the things you talked about, all of those, the wide receiver screens. Didn't we? The Thielen, even the Thielen screen pass for the touchdown last night. Am I thinking of the right game? But, yeah, there's ways to get him more touches and get him involved. They need to do that. It's only going to help out the rest of their football team.
Here's the message to anyone out there who is an offensive coach at any level, whether you are a coordinator trying to become a head coach or just not get fired, whether you're quality control and working your way up. The best offensive coaches create the time and the capacity every week to not just focus on their playbook. They focus on what other teams are doing. They focus on what has worked league-wide. Is there some new trend that I can steal? There's no shame in it. Steal it. If you see something that someone else is doing that is working, you're not going to get any trouble.
Right.
You're not going to get sued.
Right.
No one's going to say, you stole that from the 1983 Miami Dolphins. No. Anything you can use, anything you can see, watch highlights, watch every touchdown from the week that was. Understand what beats that defense. Don't get so caught up in your system. The defense you're about to face has serious flaws somewhere. They only have 11 guys. It's amazing to me because I know what the best offensive coaches do.
They're doing it.
They find time
Yeah.
to not just say, what do we have to do with our attack? No.
Yeah.
What are the other teams doing that's working
Right.
against this defense we're facing? What's working lead wide? What can we bring to the table that they're not going to expect that maybe makes better use of our players? It really isn't that difficult, folks. And maybe you know what, Chris? Look, I know everybody's got to make their own personal choice about how much time they devote to their professional exploits. I'm at a point in my life where I got nothing else to do. I work from the moment I get up to the moment I go to bed, right? I mean, a little leisure time, but not much. If you want to rise to the top of the coaching profession, you got to find time. You got to make time to take it next level. And I feel like too many guys can't or won't put in the time necessary to take it next level. Either they don't know what to do, or they're not willing to put in the time to do it.
Yeah.
Or a combination of both. But that's the
it.
difference between the great and the good and those who get fired.
Yes. I mean, 100%. I mean, whether it is, the extra hours in the office to do things like that, or, real
hours, not hanging around drinking coffee.
No, I know, exactly.
Shooting
grinding
the
it.
breeze.
Right.
Almost said a different word. Real work.
Right.
Grind and grind.
Right.
Work hard, play hard, win hard. And, and then have a boat where every year you got to change the name of it because you've won another Super Bowl.
Well, that's the
difference between Bill Belichick and everybody else.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, they grind to death, and we've always talked about that. It's one of their great advantages. They outcompete the other coaching staff almost on a weekly basis. But like McDaniels, Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan, I guarantee that they have John Gruden. I know, so I don't have to guarantee that one. I know. All right. They, at some point, to what you're saying during the week, are going to sit down and watch 2 or 3 of the offensive coordinators they really respect in football and just see what they did for the week. Let me run through their game real quick and see their plays. Let me just see. That was cool. Okay, I like that. What'd they do that? All right. I'm going to do that. And they might not do it that week, but all of a sudden it gets infused into the practice schedule to where now you practice it 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, here's the game to break it out. There's that play I took from Sean Payton 3 weeks ago. Now we're going to break it out, and here we go. That's what the really good ones do. You're right, Mike, all the way. And, maybe this will be the nudge that gives Schottenheimer that, all right, our formula that's been working to this point's not. Now I need to expand and go to the next level, and maybe he does that this week.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.